Hello there everybody, this is Alex from Hardcorian Guides, bringing my guide for Ninja Gaiden Sigma on Mastered Ninja difficulty. Today we're doing chapter 18 called The Core. So a lot of people usually split these videos up into like 5 different parts or whatever. This is just going to be one part for me. This is where the tower is. In my opinion, this is probably one of my least favorite chapters of the game. I don't like the caverns, but I'd rather just do the caverns than this one. This one sucks, but not hard again, but until the boss rush, that's when it gets kind of difficult. But until then, it's relatively tame if you know what you're doing and how to prepare yourself. So there's gonna be a lot of backtracking, and I cut out a lot of that. So okay, first things first, I'm starting off in is I'm going to fight off these ghost fish in this ring now, because now with the Orku gone, ghost fish will spawn here. Sometimes they do. It's very weird. If you want to get back to the grind area, you can just go right back to that door. You don't have to do what the hell I did when I first played and go back through the freaking double doors, go down the giant stairs, and then take a left, and then, you know, go through all that crap. That was just me being stupid. So now that I know where the hell I'm going, this should be a little bit better. So, first thing we get is a Life of the Gods, and then there's a map that this guy is carrying, so we grab that from him. And I think somebody's got a diary too. Later on, I remember. Sorry, I'm popping my finger. It hurts. Yeah, every once in a while, these guys will respawn if you come back from that way, but sometimes they don't. It's just very weird. So this is not really essentially a good grind area for it. There is another pack of ghost fish that do respawn near this area, but I don't like it too much because there's enemies that are in the way of here and there. So, yeah. I just feel like if you're going to grind, go back here and do it. I'm going to show you guys right now, again, for anybody that didn't know, or anybody that's new and watching it, that, oh, I guess I didn't show you exactly where it was, but essentially it's over there near that save spot. You just go right back, go from the save spot to the shop, back and forth, and you can grind out pretty well. I skipped these guys. There's really no reason for me to fight them. I run over here and I grab, I think, a Life of the Gods again. Yep. This was the area, the same chapter, where I was like, where the fuck's the elixirs? You know? Like, I think I have enough on me, but I think it might have been one of the chapters that I was kind of like thinking, man, there should be some elixirs in here. I usually think like that too. Like, I don't like Life of the Gods, really. I mean, in the beginning of the game, yeah, it's okay, but like near the end of the game, I just feel like they're kind of not useless, but just get in the way. You know, where I'd rather just have an elixir there for safekeeping rather than just have Life of the Gods. Yeah, I get an extra little bit of max health, but, you know, that's going to be destroyed when I go fight the bosses anyway, so what's it matter? So now we have to come over here, no matter what. This is a mandatory area I think we have to come to. You don't have to fight the ghost fish, per se, but you do need to come into these double doors, go out the doors, and then the guy laying down there, that corpse, or soon-to-be corpse, will be out there, and he'll give you, I think, like a fiend heart or something, and then you just gotta use that for the tower area, and now we have like 4 different items that we can use, so that's essentially what we do. I believe we go this way. Yeah, this set of doors right here, if you go completely down the stairs and straight forward, you can get back to where Terron was, that city. The city where the monastery is at and all that. So if you want to go back there, you can. Which, I love how the ending of the game allows you to go back to the levels you've been to before. I love when games do that, and I think that's what Ninja Gaiden definitely excels in. It really does. It's a really unique game in that charm that it's open world, but not exactly. You know, it doesn't give you that open world feeling, but it allows you to explore it as a game. And then Ninja Gaiden 2 is like, nope. You want to go back? Nope. That building is destroyed. Oh, sorry. We just blew up the entire Grand Canyon. Guess you can't go back there now, can you? No, but Ninja Gaiden 1's like, hey, you need to go back and grind. Okay. Sure. Fine. Why, you know, why not? Ninja Gaiden 3 is like, you want to fight a T-Rex? Here you go. You know, a lot of people hate on Ninja Gaiden 3. I don't really hate it. I think it's cool in its own right. It's hard in its own ways, too. Very hard. I think I've beaten... Shit, I don't know if I beat Master Ninja on there or not. I say that because there's another mode straight after it. It's called Ultimate Ninja. Yeah, they had to fuck you that hard. I know, right? By the way, I'm talking about Razor's Edge, not Ninja Gaiden 3 Vanilla, which that one's weird too, because I don't think you can even upgrade your weapons in that game. At least I don't know how to. Anyway, here's the gimmick of the tower. There are 4 different floors that we go to, and each floor is going to spawn a different set of enemies. Now, you have to fight off the first wave of enemies every single time you're on these new floors to unlock the door to continue to the next floor. If you come back down here, enemies will respawn. Not in this floor particularly, but in 2, 3, and 4, they will respawn. And just avoid them if they do. So the first floor contains regular good old-fashioned fiends. Not the ones that are on the easier modes, but the ones that are pretty much prominent in this, mode anyway. And it contains the bigger, the crystallized black fiend. So you got the white ones and you got the black ones as well. And the white ones are really pretty much cannon fodder. I mean, they've always been, they always will be. Yeah, they're annoying, especially with that grab shit that they do, but they're relatively easy enough to take down. They're not that scary. They're not really threatening, but they can be annoying when they actually tackle you down and really group up on you. So, the mission here is every time you clear a room like that, you have to put in one of these statues, and that's the first of 5, I think. 5. That we have to deal with. There's like four floors, I think, but there's like 5 different things, because the last one comes from the Demon King himself, so we had to go take out. Anyway, if you climb these stairs, I would recommend having fire wheels on pretty much every time you come out here, and always re-equip the Hardcorian flails when you go up these stairs. I'm going to show you me going up the stairs to the 2nd floor and any items on the next, few floors that I grab. But after that, I will not. I think I show you guys if I go back or not. Yeah, I do show you if I go back to the shop. I will show you that. I just won't, show you. I'll tell you, hey, I go back to save the game. So after every time you beat a room, run up the next floor, grab whatever item that it has, run back down, and if you need to grind up, go ahead and grind up for the next room if you need it. If you don't worry, just keep going. You can. Just always come prepared for the next floor ahead of you. That's what I say. That's what helped me the most, and it saved my ass. Because if you go from floor to floor without saving the game, you're going to be in for a world of hurt. Just saying. Now, I know I basically hyped up this chapter, like the last few chapters, saying like this is a bitch of a chapter, which it is. But if you run back, grind up, go to the shop, and buy anything you need and save the game, you should be relatively fine to take care of it. It's just the tedium of it is really just a huge, massive, like, boner killer for sure. I mean, this chapter will destroy you if you let it, but you can't let it destroy you. For instance, right there, when I got hit by that laser, I didn't even use an item. You know why? Because the ghost fish respawn. That's right. The ghost fish will respawn. And also, there is a giant Team Ninja black box at the very top of the floor. So when we're going back up there again, you could literally use all your Nimbo climbing back up the stairs after you've beaten all the, the rooms themselves. And then pretty much just regenerate all your Nimbo back and your health. So that's nice to have. Unfortunately, there's no shop, which would have been great because technically you could use this as a grind area if you wanted to. I don't recommend it because climbing back down, most of the time, except for the exception of one floor, you have to, when you're going down, you have to go back through the packs of enemies. You don't have to fight them. It's not a mandatory fight like it is when you go up, but, they will basically respawn. So now, the second room we have to deal with is going to contain 2 of the dinosaur-looking guys and 1 of the black fiends. And what you could do that I didn't do was do the charge attack. But instead what I decided to do was use the unlabored flawlessness to essentially, in the beginning of it, take down the fiend himself. And I use the Guardian Inferno as much as I can to wipe out any other extra, bullshit I have to deal with. That was me getting caught in a combo I had no reason or intention to get caught in. I was trying to do the uppercut attack, but it was not coming out. Whenever you kill off the dinosaur fiends, they typically spawn a blue essence, which you can use if you have the Devil Harrow. to do the slam attack and essentially just wipe him out that way. Of course, I'm doing the uppercut attack in the beginning of it, especially on the dinosaur guys, which is kind of helpful. There is one point when I'm fighting the Fiend himself, the regular Fiend here, and all of a sudden, the Fiend behind him, the bigger Fiend, the dinosaur-looking guy, the enraged guy, he was unable to attack me because the Fiend himself was in the way. I think that happened at one point. That might have either been a trashed recording, which I don't think it would, because I went through this relatively well in one live. Yeah, I pretty sure I did. Yeah, okay, well that takes care of floor 2. I think the last or third floor might spawn. No, I think the third floor spawns nights. Yeah, because I fast forward that part, so yeah, alright. Anyway, put that in its little, keister hole there, and what I'm doing is I'm climbing back up the stairs to check for any items. I'm not going to go into the next room exactly because I'm not prepared to go in the next room yet. I don't have the exact items, essentially, I would need to protect myself just in case of anything going wrong. Now, it's mainly due to a lack of confidence. This was just me fucking up. I forgot to change the Nimpo. Just a silly mistake. I mean, I just still killed most of the ghost fish, right? So it's okay. God damn, I'm getting tired. Holy shit. Well, this is technically the last chapter of the whole game, pretty much. This is like the last big chapter you have to worry about, because like chapter 19 is nothing but platforming and a final boss, and that's it. Okay, so climbing back down. It's not here. I think it's the floor above us that allows you to jump down. So, skip ahead a little bit. I go completely all the way back, grind up with the ghost fish if I needed to, and buy all the items that I want. And I did. I maxed out everything. As you can see there, it's down like 60,000 essence left. And I essentially maxed out everything again. So I'm showing you guys I went back to the shop just to give you guys an idea of, the tedium and the problem that it is. So, I'm going to show off the first night fight, because I just tend to do that with these guys. Why not just show off the first beginning part of the fight and show you what I'm doing? To remind everybody, again, counterattacks, 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 and then the Armlet of Potency, or whatever it's called, upgrade your kicks to do more damage, definitely helps out a lot. So, I'm going to use the Art of Inferno on these guys a lot more, because not only can I get my Nimpo back via Ghost Fish, but I do have the elixirs that I can use to, get them back. And I can run right back to the shop, buy them again. So, every time you get down to the room, let me remind you, every time you get down to the room, if you need to, and I highly recommend it no matter what, go back, buy some more items, and prepare yourself for the next room. There's only 4 rooms you have to take care of, and then after that, it's a boss rush. It's one wave of normal fiends, a boss, fiends again, and then you're attacked by fireballs, boss fight once again, then fiends, and the final boss of that area. Okay, so, back on track. There's the knights are all taken care of. We put in the next statue, and I head right back down, and I go right back to the shop eventually. But now I'm going to show you what happens when you get up to, like, the next floor here. That was, what, floor 3? I believe? That should be floor 3. I think there's... Yeah, there's definitely one more, because the next one's going to spawn a mix of enemies. And I think it has, like, a knight, like 1, maybe 2 knights, 1 at a time, I believe. And then a regular white fiend, and then maybe a black fiend, and maybe a dinosaur fiend thing. Shit, I don't remember. But I do know that I'm pretty sure there's a knight that's involved, which those guys are just a pain in the dick. Dude, they're just a huge, massive, just like, fuck you. Alright. So anyway, up here is going to be Life of the Gods again. I equipped that, put that on. And also I'm going to show you this little jump thing that you can do right here whenever you're traveling right back down. It's just to save you from going through the room. That's all it really does. I think you jump down possibly 1 floor. It might be the same floor. I don't know. It either saves you from jumping down the room, but if you jump down that way, you don't have to deal with ghost fish. So there you go. There's everything maxed out again, showing you that. And returning from the shop, we now have to deal with the last room of the tower. So yeah, it has a Dinosaur Fiend, it has a Knight so far that I see. I equipped the Dragon Sword to take out the Knight because he's going to be a pain in the ass. The reason why I equipped the Inazuma is because I figured, you know, well, there's so many enemies surrounding me, might as well use that, right? Sorry, folks, I have an itch on my foot. It's very itchy right now. I guess there is no Black Fiend. It's just a regular White Fiend and a Knight and then a Dinosaur dude. Okay, cool. So yeah, at one point I'm fighting... It might be him, yeah, because like... Yeah, you saw that, right? Like the Dinosaur guy tried to hit me, but it didn't work. So, yeah, essentially, if you focus on the Knight and do the counterattacks, you can pretty much just be covered. Now, of course, if you wanted to, just completely... You could just completely wail on this guy with nothing but Infernos. And essentially, if anybody else gets in the way, you can take them out with them. So, that does kind of help out a bit. Hang on, I'm going to make some noise here. So, I do apologize in advance. That's just how my chair works, because it's squeakier than shit. Okay. Yeah, so... Yeah, I still got that itch right now. It's really bothering me. Oh, goodness. And I reach all the way down there because my fat ass getting in the way. Good Christ. Alright. Woo! Okay. So, you kill one Knight, another one spawns. I think if you kill one Dinosaur guy, another one spawns. I think there's only like a set of 2 of each enemy here, and that's it. I mean, yeah, it looks very intimidating. It looks very tough. But if you pretty much, what am I trying to say? What's the damn word for it? Ugh, I always fuck this up. If you just take this, you know, patiently, and you just mainly focus on the Knight here and just do counterattacks, you should be okay. Because the guy in the back probably won't even mess with you. And of course, if you start the Inferno, the splash damage itself might be able to involve the other fiends like it did for me. So that's just me, though. It could work differently for you. You guys might do different things than I do, but that's just what I'm doing. Yep. That's all this guide really is about, is just showing you guys what I do, particularly. Not exactly how the pros do it or anything like that, because I'm not a pro. I'm just your average Let's Player on YouTube. Also, guide on YouTube as well. You know, walkthrough or whatever you want to call them. And, yeah, I'm just here to help you average Joes, because that's what I am too, an average Joe. So, that's what we do here on Hardcorian, right? We get shit done, but, well, we try to. Anyway. Alright, so up here, it's going to be a chest. There's 2 chests. There's actually, they're both ghost fish. I missed the other one on complete accident, but I do grab it, and it's actually off screen that I grabbed it later on. It's like near the end of chapter 18. Yeah, it's like right over there to the side, to the right side. So here's a black box thing. I'm going to run right back down and then grab the shop. Completely buy everything. Grind up. Make sure you have all the items you need. This took me about 3 times to do this. 3 or 4 times to do this entire fight. So, here's the game plan. Alright. Do not waste any talismans, and try not to waste any elixirs on the first boss, okay? Keep that in mind. Watch how I take care of this. First things first, you can kill these guys with 2 Flying Swallow attacks, or go straight in for an Azuna drop. Fight these fiends the same way you fight fiends all the time, but be more careful though too. Watch yourself, because you will not get out of this fight until you've killed off the Demon King. Yes. I know. You have to go through waves of these guys just to get there. So you have to be able to survive long enough with the items you have to beat him off. That didn't come out right. But you get what I'm saying. Essentially, to beat him down, you have to have enough items. And I will show you guys my strategy how to take him down without using too many items to do so. A sort of cheese, if you will. I wouldn't really call it a cheese that works particularly, but it does kind of help. Okay, so there's a few tricks with this bitch. 1, when she crosses up her leg, that's typically a throw. It does half damage. It does half your health. As soon as you spawn, roll backwards and then go in for a flying swallow. The trick is, whenever she's touching the ground, you want to go in for a flying swallow attack. Whenever she's doing that dive attack like that, whenever she hits your sword, immediately dodge straight after and then try to go for a flying swallow. Whenever she does that throw right there, try to go for a flying swallow. The trick is to go for a flying swallow, but be very patient. This one's easier to be patient on than the second fight. Whenever you knock her down like that, instantaneously go for the uppercut attack. That's what you want to rely on. Right there, what she's doing is she's baiting you out. There are times where you can flying swallow straight toward her and actually get her hit, but I wouldn't take it all the time. I mean, just be very, very patient with her. Take your time. Don't worry. Just learn the timing, learn the tactics. Watch how I do it over and over again until you guys can figure it out for yourselves. How, like where the timing is and everything that you need. When she does that slam attack, try to go in for an attack like that. Whenever she does that throw, where she kicks up her leg like that, go in for a flying swallow. Now, technically, whenever she does that dive attack, or whenever she's like close to you, you can get like, there's times where you can get like a few hits off. You can do an uppercut attack without her actually being on the ground to do it. Like, you can basically attack her in air. But I don't recommend it, but it can be something to get you a little extra damage. So, notice how I barely used any items. I don't think I used any at all. I don't remember. No talismans were wasted on the first boss. That is already a good sign of a good fight. Do not waste a talisman, even one talisman on that fight. So now we have to deal with not only the fiends, but the Demon King in the background, or the Fiend King, whatever you want to call him, in the background shooting his fireballs at us. He does it, he's got a certain pattern with it. It's every like few seconds. If you can figure out the timing of it in your head and know when to react, you should be fine. If you focus on one fiend, like if you do, an Azuna drop, whatever, get the iframes for it, or maybe even do like a flying swallow to get across the screen, you should be good. The best thing to do is whenever you're facing toward the Demon King, try to do flying swallows from like left to right instead of like going toward him, because if you go toward him, he might get like a cheap sucker punch on you. That's not good. Now, here comes the second fight. This chick has a throw where she throws out her whip and essentially grabs you with it. I don't exactly know how to explain this fight. I will show you one trick that I do know I learned from Bick that does sort of help, but not exactly a full throttle cheese. So essentially what I do here, when she does that kicking attack, that's a good time to do a flying swallow attack. Now, whenever she's spinning around and whenever she's swinging around, charge up your UT, try to stay away from the middle. Go to the edge, away from her, charge up a UT, and whenever you don't see her swinging around on screen, immediately let go, or if you've got your timing just right, you can actually land a dash attack on her. So she usually swings around twice. Let go of it, and then immediately go in for like a square, triangle, I think it is. Either way, there's like an attack where you can pretty much attack 4 times in a row. And it's ridiculous. It might just be square, 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 square. Now, what I started doing with her is I started utilizing flying swallow attacks a lot. And also, letting her break my guard and dodging out of the way is the best thing that you can do to get away from her, essentially. That's the trick that I learned with her, is being on guard at all times, no matter what. She's got some really stupid bullshit attacks that really can just waste down your health. If she gets a talisman off on you, that's fine. This is where the talismans come into play, and they come in extreme handiness. You can tell that she's a lot tougher than the first fight that we had to deal with. And, of course, she's definitely a lot more tankier for sure. This is an okay area to use a few items in. That laser right there, I believe you can flying swallow just in time to get a hit on her. But I'd say if you're too far, don't even bother. Just run on the wall and run away from it. Use the wall running tactic to pretty much get yourself some distance away from her whenever you feel uncomfortable just being around her. I know they're intimidating, I know they're tough, but you just gotta learn the timing, and that's essentially the important part. So the cheese to this boss is that attack right there. Whenever he's flying in the air, jump up and press the square button to do that spinning attack, and sometimes you can't get a hit. Watch out for audio cues, because whenever he's about to slam the ground like that, he will give you a cue to when he does it. And there are times where you can do a flying swallow on him and actually get a hit off. Now, when it comes to the Art of the Inferno, you have to do it at a certain time to be able to do it. See how he's doing that spinning attack like that? Here's where the Art of the Inferno does come in handy. That right there is a grab attack. So whenever you're actually beating, like when he lands on the ground like that, start wailing on him. But don't wail on him too much because he will grab you. That's something you got to be very careful. I mean, that also does spawn fiends too, so watch out for those. Now, back to the Art of the Inferno. Whenever he does that spinning attack, dodge out of the way, go back in. Flying Swallow does close in the gap between you and him as well. See right here? I'm doing the Art of the Inferno, and eventually when he gets right back up, I do damage. But at any other time, for some reason, you can't do damage with it. So that's the best time to do the Art of the Inferno on him. Okay, so yeah, that's essentially this boss in a nutshell. You can do an uppercut attack, like whenever you're underneath him, to get some damage in him on the air if you needed to. Because that's essentially like what works best here is doing attacks, like simple square attacks in air. Whenever, of course, he's floating in air. There's no real, like, certain altitude he has to be to hit him, I believe. I believe you can pretty much hit him at any altitude, technically. Except for right there for some... Yeah, sometimes you can't hit him. I don't get it. I really don't. This game has some strange hitboxes. I know I praised it before, like a few chapters before, that it's got some good hitboxes, but sometimes it just has some shit that they throw at you that just makes no sense. That last fireball that he does is delayed a little bit, so be careful of that one too. Just keep, whenever he does that, just keep dodging around the map, you know, dodging from left to right, just, you know, just keep going. Or left, yeah, that's what I think I said. Yeah, see, watch this. I'm doing the Art of the Inferno now, no damage. That's because he didn't do the spinning attack that he's supposed to do, that I wanted to try to get him to do. Whenever he's like flying in the air for a little too long and not doing anything, he's probably planning some bullshit attack, so be careful of it. No, the boss itself is not that tough. He can be kind of shitty, especially when he summons, like, you know, fiends and stuff to help his aid. He can be a shitty asshole with that, but relatively he's not too tough. If you got one more talisman on hand, which I highly recommend you at least have one talisman in this fight for him, or at least a good amount of healing items. Do not use the extra stuff that you can't get from the shop. Do not use them here. That's not a good idea. Trust me, if you accidentally do it, just restart it or something, or just die, or just hope you got some balls to fucking take on the next bosses, you know, with it. I mean, it's not that, it's never that tough, honestly, but still, I'm trying to retain as many items as I possibly can for the next boss after this. So, after the Demon King is done, you are done until the next boss rush. Meaning, you can go back to the shop, grind up again, and get more items if you need it. And I highly recommend you do that. I'm not going to let you guys go off that easily without even doing it. I'm being dead serious. That's not an option. That's an order. Go back there, grind up, and grab some stuff from the shop back where the Ghostfish were. Okay? Okay. That's the Demon King. Pay close attention to what I do in these fights, because it may sort of help you. It's one of those games that's harder to explain to those that don't play the game enough. If you know the mechanics of the game, you should know well enough what I'm doing, essentially, to be able to do it yourself. That's the hard part of doing a guide like this, is I can't exactly explain to casual or even non-players what exactly I'm doing, because what I'm doing is muscle memory. That's essentially what it is, and it's just a tough thing to basically talk about. So, I heal up here, replenish everything I need, and then I grind up again. I travel right back down all the stairs. I go right back to the grind area. I should have enough money to basically afford everything at this point, which I believe I do. I come back, and I'll show you what I have equipped. I kept dying on this boss fight, and I just said, fuck it. I'm not gonna go to the menu and show you guys what I have. I'm gonna tell you guys what I have. So, eventually it's gonna cut pretty soon. There it is. Now I have a new weapon equipped. I have the Dabble Harrow equipped. I have the Art of Inferno equipped. I have Armlet of the Moon. And I have... I think that's it. believe. I have everything maxed out for items. I go straight toward my devil elixirs, because what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be utilizing the Art of the Inferno to attack this boss. Okay, you see those blue gems, those blue crystals on her arms and on her breast area? That is where you need to attack. If you hold the block button, you can move up and down with the rock. If you don't, you can move forward. If you don't hold block, you can move forward and backward with it. Keep that in mind. That's something the game does tell you, but not really fully, but yeah. Okay, if you get close enough, you can do basic damage, and you can also do a charged UT attack with the Devil Arrow to do the damage for you. But as you can see now, the Art and the Inferno saves you so much trouble with this fight. Also, I want to let you guys know this little trick here. If you're going to do the Art of the Inferno stuff, and if you're going straight for her chest, wait for her to put her arms down to launch the Art of the Inferno. The reason why, because if you attack her arms, it does no damage. You have to damage the crystals that's on her chest and on her arms, on her shoulders. That's the only way you can attack it. So, the Art of the Inferno is the strongest attack that you have against her. Everything else doesn't seem to really work. Now, in the shop, before you fight the second boss, make sure you have every arrow bought. They're not that expensive. Buy every type of arrows, because now we're going to choose the next boss. So, equip the explosive arrows first, or strongbow, whichever one you want to start with. It's best to use the explosive arrows first, because what I am doing here is I'm shooting one skull, which will basically blow off the skull. They do respawn, by the way, and it will show off the flesh that is resided, but like inside the skulls, what they're hiding there. And I'm using the Art of Inazuma. It doesn't matter. Well, it does a little bit of damage because it's a group attack. When the skulls go to attack you, the Art of Inazuma will actually do damage to them. And then, of course, the top head itself, will sometimes swoop in to fly in to try to attack you. So, what the explosive arrows do best is whenever you shoot the fleshy part of it, not the skulls themselves, but the fleshy part, it will actually do damage, like splash damage to the rest of the skulls, thus doing more damage. So whenever the skulls start to attack you like this, go straight in for an Inazuma, and then just wipe out the skulls that come toward you. Keep using the arrows. Now that I'm out of the cores, I'm going to switch straight to the strongbow, and then finish this boss off with nothing but bow and arrow. Actually, it's a fun boss now. It used to be a shitty boss, but now it's a fun boss. Sorry if I went through these things too quick. There's just too much shit going on at one time. It's hard to explain, but hopefully I helped you guys figure out what you need to do. Anyway, we have one more chapter left, and I will see you all then for the final chapter. So as always, take care, everybody.